Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're going to try to crack the code of data and analytics.
Oh, yeah.
It's a world, full of opportunity,
Right.
but to be honest, a little bit mysterious still to those, just starting out.
Yeah, it's true. Data can definitely feel a little overwhelming at first, but that's why we're here to
Yeah.
kind of break it down.
Yeah, make it approachable, even make it exciting, for people.
Exactly. And we have this guide
Yeah.
that we're diving into that's specifically created for beginners.
Yes.
And it's really like a roadmap to understanding this whole idea of data literacy,
Yeah,
why it's so valuable in pretty much every field now,
it really is.
and how you can start building those data skills yourself.
That's right. No need to be a tech wizard.
No, not at all. And one thing that really jumps out from this guide is
What's that?
just the sheer volume of data
Right.
that's being created every single day.
It's mind-boggling.
It is mind-boggling. It's every click, every purchase, every scroll. It's all generating this data.
Yeah. And it holds incredible potential.
So it's not just about spreadsheets and algorithms then.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
Data is like woven into the fabric of our lives.
It is.
From how we shop to how businesses make decisions,
Mhm.
it's like this invisible force that's shaping our world.
That's a great way to put it.
And understanding it gives you a real edge.
I like that. Okay. I'm intrigued. But
Yeah.
let's tackle something that I know a lot of people get tripped up on.
Okay.
It's this whole data science versus data analytics.
Yeah.
They sound so similar.
They do.
Can you help us untangle these two?
Absolutely. The guide actually does a great job of explaining this difference.
Okay, good.
So imagine like building a powerful telescope.
Okay.
That's data science.
All right.
It's about collecting, cleaning, and organizing massive amounts of data using algorithms to handle like the volume and the complexity of it.
Okay, so data science is setting up the tools, creating the structure.
Yes.
What about data analytics?
So now imagine the astronomer
Okay.
using that powerful telescope to discover new galaxies.
Okay.
That's data analytics.
All right.
It's about extracting meaning from that data that you've, collected and cleaned.
Yeah.
Finding those trends, the patterns, the insights
Yeah.
that can then answer questions and solve problems.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
Data science builds the telescope. Data analytics makes the discoveries.
Exactly.
And businesses, they're hungry for these discoveries.
Oh, they are.
Right?
Big time.
They are. Yeah. Okay. The guide highlights some really compelling examples
Oh, good.
of how companies are actually putting these concepts into action in different departments.
Okay.
So, for example, in marketing and sales,
Yeah.
companies can analyze customer data
Uh-huh.
to personalize their campaigns
Mhm.
and to target their advertising much more effectively.
So instead of blasting out generic ads, they can tailor their message to what people actually want.
Precisely.
Oh, I like that.
It's all about understanding customer behavior and preferences,
Yeah.
but it goes way beyond marketing.
Oh, okay. Think about finance.
Yeah.
Data analysis can help with forecasting, with budgeting, even spotting financial trends that might have otherwise been missed.
Wow. So it's like having a financial crystal ball almost.
It is.
Yeah.
It helps businesses make smarter decisions about their money.
Are there other areas where this is making a big impact?
Absolutely. The guide also dives into how data is revolutionizing security
Mm-hmm.
by identifying potential fraud and protecting sensitive information.
Wow.
And then in manufacturing, data analysis is being used to streamline production processes and cut costs.
So it's really is changing the game in all sorts of industries.
It really is.
It sounds like data literacy is becoming less of a specialized skill
Right.
and more of a must-have
I couldn't agree more.
for everyone, no matter what field they're in.
Yeah. And this guide emphasizes that even if you're not aiming for a career as a data scientist,
Right.
just having a solid understanding of data can make you a much more effective problem solver and decision maker in general.
That makes a lot of sense. So where do we even begin? Right.
What are the essential skills we need to kind of navigate this data-driven world?
Well, the guide breaks down several key skills that are valuable even for non-data professionals.
Okay.
One that stands out is critical thinking.
Yeah.
It's about being able to analyze data objectively, avoiding biases, and not jumping to conclusions.
That makes sense. Data can be misleading if you don't know how to interpret it properly.
Exactly.
What other skills are important?
Another key one is hypothesis formation and testing.
Okay.
It's about asking the right questions and then using data to find the answers.
So it's a bit like being a detective using data as clues
Exactly.
to uncover insights.
Yes, and then there's data wrangling, which sounds kind of intimidating.
It does.
But it's really just about cleaning and organizing data so it's ready for analysis.
Okay.
Think of it like prepping ingredients before you cook a delicious meal.
I can't argue with that analogy. So you got to get your data organized before you can do anything meaningful with it.
Exactly.
What happens next?
And then comes the fun part, data visualization. It's about taking raw data and transforming it into easy-to-understand charts, graphs, and visuals that actually tell a story.
Okay, so we've gathered the data, cleaned it up, and made it visually appealing.
Right?
But before we get too carried away with all this data wizardry, we also need to talk about responsibility, right?
Yes, we're absolutely right.
Yeah.
The guide rightly emphasizes that data privacy and ethics
Yeah.
are paramount.
Uh-huh.
We need to be incredibly mindful of protecting personal information and using data in a way that is responsible
Right.
and doesn't cause harm.
So it's a powerful tool
It is.
that needs to be wielded carefully.
Very carefully.
Like any great power, there's great responsibility.
Exactly.
We can't forget about the human side of data.
Right.
What else does the guide say about this responsibility?
Well, it also stresses the importance of data integrity,
Okay.
making sure the data we're using is accurate, reliable, and protected from errors or breaches.
So it's not just about the insights we gain, but also about the ethical implications
Yes.
of how we handle that data.
Yes.
This is all giving you a lot to think about.
It definitely underscores the importance of approaching data with a sense of responsibility and awareness.
Okay, before we move on, I wanted to make sure I'm following along.
Okay.
We've talked about the difference between data science and data analytics.
Right.
The many ways businesses are using data and the essential skills for becoming data literate.
Yes.
What am I missing?
You've got it. And the guide also dives into this really helpful framework called the data-driven decision-making framework.
Okay.
It's a step-by-step process that helps you use data effectively to solve real-world problems.
All right.
It starts with understanding the problem, then wrangling that data, visualizing it, forming hypotheses, conducting your analysis, and then finally communicating the results.
So it's a structured approach to making sure we're not just drowning in data, but actually extracting meaningful insights.
Exactly.
But where do we even begin? How can we start building these data skills in a practical way?
Right.
You know, how can we actually start doing this?
Yeah. That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The first step is often the hardest, believing you can grasp these data concepts, even if numbers aren't your usual thing.
I think a lot of people get intimidated by the technical aspects of it. But, you know, this guide stresses that data literacy is becoming essential for everyone.
It is.
So, you know, it's worth pushing past that initial fear.
Absolutely. And there are so many fun and practical ways to kind of sharpen your skills.
Okay.
The guide suggests things like brain games,
Oh, fun.
Sudoku logic puzzles.
Okay.
They're great for training your analytical thinking.
So those late-night Sudoku sessions are actually good practice for data analysis.
Exactly. Who knew? And it also highlights the power of real-world case studies.
Okay.
Seeing how others have tackled data problems can really bring the concepts to life and spark ideas.
Yeah, I love that. Where can people find good case studies?
Yeah, so the guide actually mentions Harvard Business School Online,
Okay.
which offers courses that are packed with real-world examples of how businesses have used data to solve problems and achieve success.
So there's tons of resources out there. It's just a matter of finding what clicks with you.
Exactly.
That's a great tip. I'm definitely going to check that out. The guide also talks about the importance of community, right? Like finding your data tribe.
Yes, connecting with others who are on that same data journey can be incredibly valuable for support, motivation, and fresh perspectives.
Yeah.
The guide suggests online forums, social media groups, even local meetups or workshops.
Right.
There are so many ways to connect nowadays.
And don't forget about the deep dive community.
Of course.
We love hearing from our listeners and sharing insights with each other.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got brain games, case studies, and community support. Any other practical advice from the guide for our budding data enthusiasts?
Yeah, well, it emphasizes the importance of starting small.
Okay.
Don't try to conquer the entire data universe at once.
Right.
Choose one or two areas that intrigue you and really dive deep.
So become a master of one data trade before trying to juggle them all.
Exactly, and don't be afraid to experiment. Play around with different tools and techniques. See what clicks for you. And remember, mistakes are part of the learning process.
There you go. Permission to make mistakes. That's a relief.
Absolutely. Celebrate those small wins along the way.
Yeah.
Data literacy is a journey, so acknowledge your progress and stay motivated. You'll be amazed at how far you come.
I like that. Okay. I'm feeling pumped to tackle this data challenge. Now,
Mhm.
the guide also mentions different types of data analysis, right? Can we
Yes.
delve into those a bit?
Yes, remember we touched upon descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive analytics.
Right. It definitely sparked my curiosity.
Yeah.
Can you remind us what each type entails?
Of course. So descriptive analytics is like looking in the rearview mirror,
Yeah.
summarizing past data to understand trends and events.
Okay.
It answers questions like, what were our sales last quarter?
Uh-huh.
Or how many people visited our website last month?
Okay, so it's the data-driven history lesson, painting a picture of what's already happened.
Yes.
What about diagnostic analytics? How does that differ?
Diagnostic analytics digs deeper.
Okay.
It's the detective work asking, why did this happen?
Right.
It helps us identify the root causes of past events,
Okay.
like why sales dipped in a certain region
Yeah.
or why customer churn rates spiked.
So we've got the what and the why covered. Now, how do we get a glimpse into the future with data?
That's where predictive analytics comes in.
Okay.
It uses historical data, statistical models, and even machine learning to forecast what might happen in the future.
Wow. It's like having a data-powered crystal ball.
Ew.
Can you give us a real-world example of that in action?
Think about weather forecasting.
Oh, yeah.
Meteorologists use vast amounts of historical weather data
Right.
and complex models to predict the weather.
That's a perfect example. We rely on those predictions all the time.
We do.
What about in the business world? How are companies using predictive analytics?
It's being used for everything from predicting future sales trends to anticipating customer churn or even forecasting the risk of equipment failures.
Wow.
It's helping businesses make more informed decisions and plan for the future.
Okay, so we've looked at the past, understood why things happened, and even
Mhm.
peeked into the future. What's the final stop on this data analysis journey?
And that brings us to prescriptive analytics,
Oh.
the most action-oriented of the bunch.
Uh-huh.
It takes those predictions
Right.
and recommends actions to achieve a desired outcome.
Okay.
It's like having a data-driven advisor guiding your decision-making.
So it's not just about insights. It's about taking action based on those insights.
Precisely, prescriptive analytics might suggest things like tweaking pricing strategies, optimizing marketing campaigns, or even reallocating resources for greater efficiency.
This is all mind-blowing, but I imagine it can be tough to know which type of analysis to use in a given situation.
You're right, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Right.
The best choice depends on the specific problem you're trying to solve
Yeah.
and the data you have available.
Okay, so it's about understanding the tools and when to use them.
Yeah.
The guide also mentions tools and technologies, right?
Yes.
Can we dive into that techie world a bit?
Absolutely. This is where it can get a bit more technical, but I'll try to keep it digestible.
Okay, hit me with a tech talk. I'm ready.
Well, one of the most popular programming languages
Okay.
for data analysis is Python.
Python. Okay.
It's versatile, relatively easy to learn,
Yeah.
and there are tons of libraries and resources available for data science tasks.
Okay, so if Python is the language, what's some of the tools people use?
There are a few key ones.
Okay.
Pandas is a library for data manipulation and analysis.
Okay.
NumPy is all about numerical computing.
Uh-huh.
And then there's scikit-learn for machine learning.
So those are like the building blocks for data analysis in Python.
Yes.
What about other programming languages? Are there any other big players in the data world?
R is another popular choice,
Nope.
especially for statistical analysis and data visualization. It's known for its focus on data exploration and creating beautiful graphics.
So if Python is the workhorse, R is the artist.
That's a great way to put it, and of course there are many other programming languages and tools out there,
Right.
each with its own strengths and applications.
It sounds like a vast and constantly evolving landscape.
Mm.
But even with all these fancy tools, I get the sense that the human element is still at the heart of it all.
You're absolutely right. Data doesn't speak for itself.
Right.
We need people to interpret it, to ask the right questions, to think critically, and ultimately to use it to tell compelling stories that drive action.
So it's a blend of art and science, creativity and critical thinking.
Precisely, and that's what makes data analysis such a fascinating and rewarding field.
I agree.
It's not just about crunching numbers, it's about unlocking insights and using them to make a positive impact. Now, I know we touched on this earlier, but the guide really emphasizes the importance of community in this journey.
Yeah, finding your data tribe.
Yes.
Something we believe in strongly here at the Deep Dive as well.
It makes such a difference. Connecting with others who are passionate about data can provide invaluable support, inspiration, and a sense of belonging.
Yeah. And it can also help combat that feeling of being overwhelmed, which I think a lot of people experience when they first step into the world of data.
Absolutely. Having a support system can make all the difference when you're learning new skills and tackling new challenges.
So where can our listeners find these data communities?
There are so many options nowadays.
Yeah.
Online forums, social media groups, local meetups and workshops. There's a community out there for every interest and skill level.
And don't forget about the deep dive community. We
Exactly.
love connecting with our listeners and fostering a space for shared learning and growth.
The more you immerse yourself in the world of data, the more you'll discover and the more confident you'll become.
This deep dive has been incredible. I feel like I've gained a whole new understanding of the power of data, the different ways to analyze it, and the skills needed to unlock its potential.
I'm thrilled to hear that. And remember, this is just the beginning of your data journey.
Yeah.
The world of data is constantly evolving, so stay curious, keep learning, and never be afraid to ask questions.
So what's the one piece of advice you would give to someone who's just starting out on their data literacy journey?
Embrace the challenge, and don't be afraid to get your hands dirty.
Yeah,
Experiment, play around with different tools, and remember, mistakes are just stepping stones to mastery.
that's great advice. And remember, you don't have to go it alone. There are communities out there ready to support you every step of the way.
Exactly, and the rewards are well worth the effort. Data literacy is a superpower that can help you make a real difference in the world.
Okay, deep divers, it's time to put our newfound data skills to the test. What one area of your work or personal life could benefit most from data-driven insights? We'd love to hear your ideas. That's a great challenge to leave our listeners with. It's all about taking what we've learned and putting it into action, making data work for us in a real, tangible way.
Exactly, and it doesn't have to be so.
So where do we start? What are some baby steps people can take to bring data into their everyday lives?
Well, the guide suggests starting by identifying a specific problem or opportunity in your work or personal life where data could provide some clarity.
Okay.
Maybe it's about understanding your spending habits,
Uh-huh.
or optimizing your workout routine,
Okay.
or even just getting a better handle on your sleep patterns.
I love those examples. They're so relatable. It shows that data can be applied to pretty much any aspect of our lives.
It's all about thinking creatively and finding those areas where data can shed some light.
Okay, so we've identified the problem or opportunity. What's the next step?
Then it's about figuring out what kind of data you could collect to help you address that specific issue.
Right.
If it's about spending habits, maybe you start tracking your expenses more diligently.
Okay.
If it's about fitness, perhaps you start using a fitness tracker or an app to log your workouts. And for sleep, there are tons of sleep tracking apps out there.
So it's about being resourceful and finding ways to gather the relevant data that can help answer those questions.
Exactly. And once you have that data, you can start playing around with it.
Yeah,
Visualize it, look for patterns, form hypotheses, test them out.
it's like becoming your own personal data detective.
That's a great way to put it. And remember, you don't have to do this alone. There are countless resources available, online tutorials, articles, communities that can guide you every step of the way.
It's all about embracing that beginner's mindset and being open to learning new things.
Absolutely. The data world is vast and constantly evolving, so
Mhm.
the key is to stay curious, keep experimenting, and most importantly, have fun with it.
This deep dive has been truly eye-opening.
Yeah.
I feel like I've gained a whole new appreciation for the power of data and the incredible potential it holds.
It's been a pleasure diving into this with you, and remember, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, yeah.
There's a whole universe of data out there waiting to be explored.
So to all our deep divers out there, we encourage you to take that first step. Start small. Ask questions, and don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Who knows what amazing insights you might uncover.
The power of data is within your grasp. Use it wisely, use it ethically, and use it to make a positive impact on the world.
That's a wrap for today's deep dive into the world of data and analytics. We hope you've enjoyed the journey and feel empowered to unlock the incredible potential of data in your own lives. Until next time, keep diving deep.